right. We good, Sam? Yep. All right, well, thanks for joining us today. To start, I do want to acknowledge Todd Loewen, our Minister of Forestry and Parks, Joseph Scow, our Minister of Jobs, Economy, Trade and Immigration, and Brian Chafe, CEO of de Havilland Canada. It is my pleasure to join them in announcing an exciting step forward in our efforts to protect Albertans and our communities from the devastation of wildfires. It may be February, but we're really only weeks away from wildfire season. And increasingly, we're seeing that season become more volatile here in Alberta and across Canada. Wildfires are also becoming increasingly unpredictable. But what can be predicted is the impact of fires, the loss of life and destruction of property. It can be greatly reduced when we're capable of a stronger and more rapid response to wildfires. So I'm pleased to say that this will soon be the reality in Alberta, thanks to our government's investment to build and add 5 new water bombers to our existing air tanker fleet. Alberta has landed on a contract with de Havilland to build the new Made in Alberta aircraft, Canadair DHC 515 water bombers, which will enhance our ability to protect communities, support firefighters on the ground, and respond rapidly when fires ignite. This is a $400 million investment, fulfilling a commitment we made in Budget 2024, to purchase additional air tankers. And this is in addition to our government's $160 million annual investment towards the province's wildfire response. Every wildfire season, air tanker crews work in dangerous conditions under acute time pressures. These new aircraft will help them respond faster, carry more water, and operate with improved safety systems. Air tankers are positioned strategically around the province at 13 different bases. The 5 air tankers invested here will mean a 60% increase in Alberta's drop capacity. Critically, the aircraft will help prevent fires from spreading into neighboring communities, because a quicker response will help keep wildfires smaller and under control. And while smaller is better when it comes to wildfires, I'm excited to say that our partnership with de Havilland will have the opposite effect in Alberta. This investment means growth. It will inject millions of dollars into our economy, expand Alberta's aerospace sector, and support hundreds of new jobs for Albertans. This includes good jobs helping to build the aircraft at de Havilland's new state-of-the-art manufacturing facility, which is being built right here in Alberta in Wheatland County. De Havilland's presence in Alberta dates back to 2022, when the company made the decision to locate its headquarters in our province. De Havilland recognized the Alberta advantage and saw the many opportunities that exist here, including our business-friendly climate, less red tape, a skilled workforce, and one of the lowest corporate tax rates in North America. The company's entrance into our province is a signal that we are providing the right conditions for leading companies to call Alberta home. And I am certain it will serve as a beacon for other global investors to follow suit and experience what our province has to offer. To put it simply, today's announcement is a true Alberta success story. It's a testament to our province's growing reputation as a place where innovation and technology thrive. It reinforces Alberta as a leader in manufacturing, and it once again showcases Alberta as the best destination for investment. Most important, this is an investment in public safety, in the lives of Albertans, protection of their property, protection of our communities, and in the safety of our wildfire responders. I do want to thank Brian and everyone at de Havilland Aircraft of Canada for choosing Alberta, and I'd like to invite Minister of Forestry and Parks, Todd Loewen, to say a few words.
Thank you, Premier Smith, for your words, and thank everyone for being here today. Alberta's government continues to do everything it can to protect Albertans from the effects of wildfire, and today's announcement is a big step forward in preparing for the future. Our government has been hard at work since the end of 2025 wildfire season to ensure we are prepared for what's ahead. Each year, we evaluate outcomes from the previous season to see where we can improve. It's through this process that we are constantly reminded of the impact wildfires can have on our communities, our families, and our livelihoods. Alberta is committed to a strong wildfire response, not only in our province, but across the country. That is why we are stepping up by adding 5 new water bombers to boost our air tanker fleet. This will help us protect Alberta, and it will also increase our ability to offer help to other jurisdictions when the need arises. Alberta already owns a fleet of 4 air tankers built between 1986 and 1988, which will remain fully operational and will be supplemented by the new water bombers. These new aircraft are a game changer. They're built for Alberta. They fly faster, carry more water, and reload in seconds, giving our wildland firefighters the power to hit wildfires hard and early, battling fires while they're small, and keeping communities safe. They also come with modern technology to keep air crews safe while they work. Our air crews work in challenging conditions, and we are proud to announce the addition of these water bombers to help make their efforts even more effective. Alberta's faced significant wildfire challenges in recent years, and we continue to explore new ways we can improve our wildfire fighting capabilities and prepare ourselves for future wildfire seasons. Alberta is a leader when it comes to using aircraft to fight wildfires, and we have seen some great success with these programs over the last few years. This includes adding night vision helicopters to our arsenal, which has increased our ability to fight fires at night when temperatures are cooler and the humidity is higher, fighting the fires when they're smaller. And just last year, we conducted a project to test the ability of hoist-equipped helicopters to drop and retrieve firefighters in hard-to-access wildfire locations. Mitigating the risks of catastrophic wildfires is also a major focus for our government. Each year, we improve our capability to address wildfires through planning and preparation. We continue to build the collaborative actions and proactive measures that will help Albertans and their communities deal with wildfire, but not be severely impacted by it. These include Fire Smart programs and community fire guard projects to reduce the amount of timber and hazardous fuels near communities. As the 2026 wildfire season draws closer, we remind Albertans that protecting our communities and forests is a shared responsibility. We all have a role to play. Through collective action by individuals, government, municipalities, and industry, we will be ready to face whatever future wildfire seasons bring. This is a great day for our province. Our new air tankers will be built right here in Alberta by de Havilland Canada, a notable Canadian aerospace company, supporting good jobs, strengthening our aerospace industry, and helping keep Albertans safe for years to come. Thank you very much, and I will now invite Minister Scow to provide some remarks.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you, Premier. Thank you, Minister Loewen, and also Brian, thank you. And to the entire team of de Havilland Canada, you can't see them on camera, but there are hundreds of employees right behind me with big smiling faces. This is truly a fantastic day. And for generations, Alberta has been a place of innovation, often leading with new technology and solutions to drive success for the economy. Whether it be hard-working families providing food security for Canada and many parts of the world, or our energy workers that keep the lights on and heat our homes, Alberta is known for opportunity. Today, we get to see another major step in an industry that is growing here by the day, aviation and aerospace. As a fifth-generation Albertan, I can't help but be grateful for all those who came before me, who laid the foundation for this success. And that is why all the other growth we have seen in aviation are especially exciting to me and to those who have come before us. Just over 3 years ago, de Havilland made the move to Alberta and announced a major investment in a new aircraft manufacturing facility in Wheatland County. This was a move that shows confidence in Alberta's economy and our government's ability to keep Alberta as the best place to do business. Major investments from companies like this could go anywhere, but they want what we have to offer. They are choosing Alberta because of our low taxes, our highly skilled workforce, and willingness to get out of the way and let business do what business does best, create jobs and create wealth and opportunity. And today, we are seeing the benefits of that investor confidence. Looking ahead, I am so optimistic for Alberta and the opportunity that lies ahead for aviation and aerospace industry. These new planes purchased by our government will make up just a few of the planes that will not only carry the trusted name of de Havilland, but also the widely recognized stamp that gives confidence for a great product made in Alberta. Thank you, and I want to wish de Havilland Canada and all the team success for many years to come. This is an incredible day.
Thank you, Minister. I think we're all excited at de Havilland. It's a big deal when you get an order this size, but also it says a lot where you set up a large part of your business in a province, and that province backs you with an order like this. So it says a lot to not only Albertans, but to Canadians and people around the world. So thank you, Premier, for the big order and believing in us. Secondly, you know, as a transplanted Albertan, I'm pretty excited about the fact that this government has taken a bold no-nonsense effort to trying to deal with the devastation that wildfires can bring. Protecting the people and the communities of Alberta. I'm really excited about this, and I'm hoping that you will see other provinces and jurisdictions step up the same way. I was recently reading the new Defence Industrial Strategy, and I don't know that there's anything more pressing than defending Canada from the wildfires. We've all seen the destruction across the country. And then when you look at that strategy, it's about investing in Canadian companies, companies that have IP and a lot of significant employment in Canada. Well, let me give you a few stats about de Havilland. We're 100% Canadian owned. You know, I always say this, our owners were pro-Canadian before it was cool to be pro-Canadian. You know, I was given the mandate to repatriate as much work from around the world back to Canada and employ as many people in Canada and in particular in Alberta as I could. And today we have over 80% of our airplanes either made by us or sourced by Canadian companies. Unheard of in this kind of sector in aerospace. In addition, our supply chain goes from coast to coast, and our special missions aircraft is also, I mean, you're talking from St. John's, Newfoundland to Victoria, BC. So, as I stand here today, I love what I read about the Defence Industrial Strategy, and I'm just saying, hey, here we are in Canada, let's bring some of that to Western Canada. And lastly, as the Minister Loewen said, we have a couple of hundred of our employees here, and I'd like to thank them. You see a lot of changes going on in the world, and we're losing some jobs in manufacturing. Well, these guys here are making it real. We've added over 1,600 employees, primarily in the manufacturing sector, and these guys are making it happen. That's why people are making orders from us, because we have a great employee base, and they're bringing back manufacturing to Canada. So with that, you know, thank you, Premier, for believing in us and taking the initiative to protect Alberta and its people. And now I think we need to let these guys get back to work. I'm not hearing any banging or noise or anything here as they build the 515. Thank you.
And we'll go into our media Q&A now. We'll start off with questions here in the room. There's just a mic back behind the cameras there. We'll be taking one question, one follow-up, and please reminder to state your name and outlet before asking your question. Start off here in the room, and then we'll make our way to the phones. Go ahead first at the mic.
Hi there, Mark Filani with CTV Calgary. I just wanted to confirm where all the money is coming from. Was there any federal funding as part of this $400 million? And is this all at once, or is this spread out over a few years? Just wanted to confirm that part.
Yeah, so the funds for this are budgeted through the Alberta government budget. The federal government does provide some funding for wildfire fighting in the provinces. Some of that funding is available for projects like this, and some isn't. But the funding is coming through the provincial government budget.
And then a follow-up here. Do you have any forecast for this wildfire season? I know it's hard to predict. We've had quite a dry start to our winter. We got the snow today, which is great. But any projections on what kind of season we might have? Yeah, anything there? Yeah,
so the earliest projections I have, or the most recent projections, suggest that March is going to be normal for the province. Of course, once we get into April and May, and maybe in the most critical month, that's when we'll find out what kind of season we have. When the snow melts in late April and the grass is dry in early May, that's when we have a lot of issues with wildfire. And so if we have some timely rains in May, we'll have a good year ahead of us. And if we don't, then it could be tough. But still too early to tell. We have a lot of snow in the north and not so much in the south. But again, the snowfall we've had in the last 24 hours is very helpful.
Thank you.
Hi, my questions are for the Premier. It's Jackie with CTV. Apologize, these are off topic for this, but you have a televised address coming up on Thursday evening. What can Albertans expect?
They should expect to be able to see it on all of our channels, as well as on Global and CTV, and I would ask people to tune in for the message.
Okay, we'll talk about maybe the budget then for next Thursday. How shall Albertans get ready? What do you think the kind of the message is going to be for them?
Well, I've been very forthright with Albertans in saying that when we came in, we had a $100 barrel of oil. So of course you can generate surpluses with that, especially with the level of production. Our budget needed $74 WTI to balance, and it's been below 60 for most of the last year. So it's part of the reason why you've seen large deficits, and that's going to continue as long as these prices are low. But what I hope people are encouraged by is that we're diversifying the economy in a way that I think has been a dream of a lot of premiers for a lot of years. Manufacturing, aerospace, defense, tourism, film and television, agri-food, venture capital, technology, all of those have contributed to us now having a lower unemployment rate than the rest of the country. But there's no question that when we came in, we inherited a situation where our budget is over-reliant on resource revenues. We're trying to correct that by building up the Heritage Savings Trust Fund. We've doubled it in size since 2022, so we're heading in the right direction. But that is a long-term strategy. So we're just wanting people to brace themselves that just like every other province and the federal government and virtually every jurisdiction around the world, there's unfortunately going to be deficits until we start seeing some oil prices turn around and getting new production online.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi there, it's Jason Herring with allalberta.com. Questions for Brian. Brian, wondering if you can give us an update on the status of the de Havilland Field construction and maybe a bit of context about how that campus will support contracts like this and ones in the future.
Okay, so we got all the permitting last year. We started moving dirt basically this year. The first building construction will happen in the spring. Our goal is within the next 5 years to have the distribution center, parts manufacturing, aerostructures, and final assembly in place by 2030. And that will allow us to ramp up and do some more, or ramp up more volume and hopefully produce at a greater rate, in particular the water bomber and the twin otter that we're doing today.
I'm wondering as well if you can speak a bit more to the significance of having Alberta as a customer in on the order book now, and if there's any trade advantage to filling these orders domestically versus sending them to jurisdictions like the U.S., or I know there's been questions about tariffs and certification.
Well, I think it's key that, where you set your head office and your home base when the province comes and backs you. I think that says a lot to not only the rest of Canada, and where they should step up with a big order. We'd love that. Other provinces, Ontario and Manitoba, have done the same. Our goal is to really service our existing customers first and foremost, so that's the EU and Canada. And most of our product is not really tariff related, so it's one unique advantage we have, so I think that puts us in a very unique position as we compete in this around the world. Our water bomber, there is no product like it. So the more orders we can get, the quicker we can ramp up.
We'll take our last one at the mic here and then go to the phones. Go ahead.
Hi, it's Dane Patterson with the Canadian Press. Question for Minister Loewen or Danielle Smith, whichever would be best to answer this. But, why de Havilland and why now? Is there, aging fleet? Is it because the wildfire season last year was so bad? Why now?
So it's probably a combination of everything. We want to make sure that we're prepared for wildfire into the future, and we have aging water bombers right now that are government owned. We also contract many water bombers too, and this is an opportunity to build up our personal fleet and make sure that as those other planes age, that we have planes coming online for them. We want to keep all of them in production. The ones that we have are still good, and they're still very productive water bombers. We use them in Alberta. We send them across the country when needed. But we do want to increase our personal fleet to make sure that we have that capacity for the future for protecting Albertans.
What's the current fleet like as far as, where we are as far as aging out and how many we have, things like that? Just a bit of a brief on that.
Yeah, so they were built in between 1988 and 1986. 86 to 88, and so those are still good. The airframes are still really good on them. They have many more years left of life in them, but we do want to make sure that we're building up as we go. We don't want to wait till their lifespan is done and then start thinking about replacing them. This is about thinking into the future, making sure that we have capacity and making sure that the capacity increases as we know we need these water bombers, and we know that other jurisdictions will need them if we don't. Yeah, and we currently have 4. Yeah.
Thank you. We have time for a few more questions. We're going to head to the phones. Operator, could you put through our first caller, please?
We have Edward Lawrence from Fox Business Network. Your line is open.
Yeah, thank you. This is off topic again, Premier, if you don't mind. With the trade agreement, or with the agreement over tariffs in China, the Prime Minister is also leading talks now to create a larger trading bloc with the EU and Trans-Pacific Partnership. Is Canada trying to position itself to trade around the United States?
I would say that it's all of the above. I mean, I know that that's been my perspective. We know that there are many, many potential new projects for pipelines in particular going into the United States, whether it's the expansion of the Enbridge main line or South Bow's 650,000 barrel line, and many other projects of that nature. We have a very integrated market with the United States, but we also know that we have an opportunity to be able to provide support to our friends and allies, whether it's on energy security or food security, or any of a number of other products. And so the United States enjoys robust trade relationships with the world, and Canada does too.
Thank you.
And did you have a follow-up, Edward?
No, thank you. That covered it. I appreciate it.
Great.
Thanks for the answer.
Thank you.
Operator, could you put through our next caller, please?
The next question comes from the line of Rick Bell from Post Media. Your line is open.
Good afternoon. A question for the Premier. In a story that came out today, I'm just going to quote you one sentence, and I'd like your reaction to whether this is true or partly true or not true at all. Quote, the provincial government's search for a major private investor to build a pipeline to the West Coast is reportedly stalled by the uncertainty surrounding a potential separatism referendum this fall. Is that true?
Untrue. I can tell you what it's creating some pause for pipeline companies is that they have historically spent billions of dollars on regulatory approval processes governed by the federal government, only to have the rug pulled out from under them. So when we look at the past 10 years, we calculate there's been over $500 billion worth of investments that have gone south because of a terrible investment climate that was largely because of federal policy. Now, we're working to correct that, and it's part of the reason why we signed the MOU with the federal government, and we're working towards putting a submission in June with what we hope will be a positive sign from the Major Projects Office that it will go ahead. And then I think at that point, you'll see one or more proponents come forward. But they've been bitten many times. Enbridge got bitten when they tried to get Northern Gateway all the way to the approval process, and then it got arbitrarily canceled. TC Energy got bitten when they were in the process of building Keystone XL pipeline, and it got canceled. And then Energy East, they'd spent $1 billion on the regulatory approval process before finally pulling the plug because they just couldn't see a way to the finish line. So those are the kind of things that are more impairing to the investment climate, is you have to actually be able to get a project built. And with any luck, and with some new commitment on behalf of the federal government to work with us, we'll be able to solve those problems. But that is the biggest barrier to investment.
So, do you see the debate possible, very public debate about Alberta's future and where Alberta goes from here, to be a stumbling block at all, or is that just what some people are putting forward as some sort of hypothesis to justify not getting stuff built?
Well, I can tell you what I have seen. I have seen de Havilland make major investments in our province, WestJet make major investments in our province, as has Lufthansa, as has CAE. Dow Canada announced that they were going to be accelerating once again their net zero project in the industrial heartland area. We've got a number of other projects, whether it's the Coca-Cola distribution plant being announced, multiple data centers. So I'm telling you, it doesn't come up when we're having those major conversations with big investors. What does come up is, can you get me the permits? What's the time frame from final investment decision in order to be able to get shovels in the ground? And we're doing everything we can to make sure that we've got a streamlined regulatory process and the best tax system in the world, so that, or in North America, so that we're able to continue to attract that investment. That to me seems to be the most influential factor.
Thank you. We have time for one last question. Operator, could you put through our next caller, please?
We have Zoe Mason from Medicine Hat News. Your line is open.
Hi there. My first question is about the announcement today. I mean, I think the water bombers is obviously a significant investment into wildfire response. I'm curious if you can expand at all about how this fits into the province's broader wildfire response strategy when we're talking more about things like prevention and mitigation.
Yeah, thanks for the question. And, there's multiple factors that we work on when it comes to battling wildfires in the province. We work on mitigation, and that's why some of the community projects that we have going right now, with Fire Smart, community hazardous fuel reduction programs like that are protecting communities right now. But when it comes to adding the water bombers, that of course is the actual attack on the fires, and having that extra capacity with the water bombers is going to be very helpful. These planes will be faster, carry more water, and they'll fill up quickly in the lakes, and so there'll be a welcome addition to our water bomber fleet. As you may have known that we're doing more firefighting at night with night vision helicopters and with crews that operate at night also. And so we have a lot of different things going on right now. I did mention earlier about the hoist program, where we can hoist wildland firefighters with helicopters in and out of areas. That's going to be very helpful as we move forward. It was something we just tried this year for the first year. And so we're looking at all these different things. And again, it's a multifaceted attack on wildfire. And the water bombers are an important part of that.
Great, thank you. Changing gears a little bit for my follow-up, my question's for the Premier. Critics have been coming out the last couple of weeks talking about the framework set out in Bill 11 for dual practice medicine, and sort of contested the characterization that the model suggested in the bill is emulating other jurisdictions. And the main point of that criticism has been the lack of guardrails or regulations in that legislation. I know you've said that there are guardrails coming, and I was curious if you could expand at all on what those regulations might look like.
Sure. I mean, Montreal Economic Institute also did actually a very positive story on dual practice and what it could mean. Part of the issue that we've seen is that if you make doctors choose between being in the public or private system, you end up with what's now happening in Quebec, where they have over 800 doctors that have opted out of the system, and you lose that expertise to the public system. We don't want that to happen. Right now, our province, our hospitals ration the number of days that they give to surgeons. So if a surgeon is only able to work 4 days a month, they have a lot of time to be able to see private patients. And that's what we're going to ask them to do, is that those who want to do dual practice, we're going to say you can't do any less work for us than you did last year. And they're going to have 2 different streams where they have to report their billing so that can be demonstrated. We've got very good records knowing which surgeon bills for which surgery, which hospital bills for what types of surgeries. So we will be able to track that. We did put our initial tracker online. You can have a look at it. It shows a baseline for how many surgeries are done in each hospital in the province, and that will be our baseline to make sure that we don't fall below that. So those are the protections that will come in through regulation.
Perfect. Thank you. And that's all our time for questions today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.